After Kylie's death, Lu Zhaochen's family, Zhang Ming and others were already frightened. In a short time, 2 people have died in front of them, and everyone's death is so miserable. The beggar elder who drove the Mercedes-Benz S-Class was originally the envy of everyone. He had money and status, and he drove a luxury car. However, just a few minutes ago, his luxury Mercedes became his steel coffin. But in front of them, Kylie's desperate tragic situation shocked their hearts. Charlie asked Isik with a cold face at this time, "Where are the other core members of the beggar gang?" Isik said, "Mr. Wade, rest assured that I have notified all our forces in Suzhou. They are already walking, and these people will soon be brought over one by one." "Okay." Charlie nodded and sneered. "Today, none of the core members of the beggar gang will stay alive. Quickly." All the people and horses of Wade family hiding in Suzhou began to move, and the members of the gang kidnapped from various places were sent to the bridge one by one. 2 of the 9 elders of the beggar gang have died, and the remaining 7 have been taken one after another. The 2 deputy leaders of the beggar gang were also brought to the scene at this time. After the members of the beggar gang gathered, one by one was frightened and collapsed. None of the later gang dared to believe that someone dared to destroy the entire gang of beggars in Suzhou. Behind the gang of beggars, Regnar of the Wu family is supporting. Why don't even Regnar care about this group of people? Charlie stood in front of this group of people at this time, and said to Isik beside him, "Let people bring steel bars over, and give me all the hands of these people and tie them up tightly with steel bars." 1 gang leader, 2 deputy gang leaders, 7 elders, and 9 people knelt in a row. The first one was Nanshan, the gang leader who just killed his wife. Charlie's phone has not stopped recording. At this time, he pointed the viewfinder at Nanshan and said with a smile, "Come on, introduce yourself. Who are you and what do you do? And who do you work for?" Nanshan looked at him coldly, gritted his teeth and said, "UFC King, pretend to be here with me. I know I will not survive today. If you want to kill, kill, but my brother-in-law will definitely take revenge for me. Then he will take your body between thousands of corpses." Charlie nodded and smiled, and said disdainfully, "The least believer, is how kind a person can be." After all, he looked at everyone kneeling in front of him, including Lu Zhaochen's family and Zhang Ming, and said sharply, "I can tell you very responsibly that today is your anniversary. None of you can live today, but die. There are also many different ways. Some methods of death may be painful, and some methods of death may be more painful. Whether it is painful or less painful depends on your performance." Later, Charlie looked at Nanshan and smiled. "Didn't you, Nanshan, just behave very unkindly? Then you have chosen the painful way of death. I will let you do what you want." A panic flashed in Nanshan's eyes. He didn't know what exactly Charlie would do to torture him. At this time, Charlie said to Isik, "Take off all the clothes on this person, and then use a knife to cut me thin cuts on him. The more you cut, the better, and the wound should not be too deep. But it must bleed. In this case, use a helicopter to lift him up and throw him in the river, so that the fish in the water can eat the wounds on his body. If there is enough time, he can be eaten into bones alive." Isaac's expression stunned when he heard the whole individual, but he didn't expect the young master's methods to be so cruel. However, think about what this group of people are doing is completely devoid of conscience. This method of death is already very fair to them. If such **umbag is placed in ancient times, he must be executed soon. So he didn't have any hesitation anymore, and immediately said to the 2 men in black next to him, "You 2, remember to cut the wound more densely." The 2 of them were top killers who killed countless, so they were accustomed to this kind of thing for a long time, so the 2 immediately took out their knives from their pockets and walked towards Nanshan without expression. Nanshan, who was still very stubborn just now, was trembling with fright at this time, crying loudly, "Big brother, I was wrong. Big brother, I was really wrong. I will say whatever you ask me to say. I will never follow you or pretending to be forced. Please don't torture me."